All right, ready to dive deep into the world of skyscrapers. These incredible structures that define our skylines are more than just steel and glass. They're symbols of human ambition, engineering marvels, and even reflections of our society.
You know what fascinates me about skyscrapers is how they represent the convergence of so many things: technological advancements, economic forces, and even a society's cultural aspirations, all coming together.
I feel like there's a whole hidden world behind those towering facades.
Definitely.
We've got a great stack of sources to dig into today. Excerpts from Conrad Riker's book, Skyscrapers,
Yeah.
The Men Who Build Them and the Societies They Shape. Plus, we've got some architectural journals and historical accounts as well.
Awesome.
So we'll be exploring the evolution of these giants, from those early pioneers to the mega towers that define modern cities. And we'll even look at how they impact our lives in ways we might not even realize.
Yeah, and I think, along with the how, we'll be uncovering the why. Like, why do we build skyscrapers?
Mhm.
What drives us to push those limits of height in engineering? And what are the broader implications for our cities and societies?
Exactly. So to kick things off, let's go back to the beginning. Before we had steel and glass giants scraping the sky, people were building upwards for centuries. What can we learn from those early attempts at reaching for the heavens?
It's really interesting to consider that the drive to build upwards is like deeply ingrained in human history. Think about the ancient pyramids.
Oh, yeah.
Structures of immense scale and ambition built with such rudimentary tools and really just sheer human effort.
I mean, those pyramids, those were definitely making a statement, right? Like a
Yeah.
giant billboard saying, hey, look at us. We're powerful. We have resources and we can defy gravity.
Precisely. Even then, there was this sense of prestige, this desire to leave a lasting mark on the world. But the transition to what we think of as like modern skyscrapers, that was a more gradual one. It was marked by key innovations and a growing understanding of engineering principles.
So where do we draw the line between those ancient wonders and the first, like, true skyscraper? I mean, was there like a specific building that kind of kicked off this whole modern era of vertical construction?
The home insurance building in Chicago, it was completed in 1885, and it's often credited as that first true skyscraper.
Okay.
Now, it was only 10 stories tall,
Oh, wow.
a far cry from, the towering giants of today,
Right.
but it marked a real pivotal shift in construction techniques.
10 stories. Can you imagine being amazed by a 10-story building?
Yeah.
Today, I mean, we have the Burj Khalifa reaching over 2,700 feet. But what made the home insurance building so special?
It was the very first building to actually utilize a steel frame, which totally revolutionized construction.
Oh, wow.
Steel provides superior strength, and it allowed for much lighter construction compared to, traditional masonry, paving the way for greater heights.
So steel was like the game changer, the key that unlocked the potential for these like vertical cities we see today.
Absolutely.
But once that door was opened, it seems like there was this race to see who could build the tallest, most impressive structure. Why that obsession with height? Is it purely about ego, or is there more to it?
I mean, while ego and prestige certainly play a part, I think the race to build the tallest skyscraper, it's also a reflection of economic power and technological progress. Think about the iconic structures that have held the title of world's tallest throughout history, right? The Woolworth Building, the Empire State Building, the Petronas Towers, Taipei 101, and now, of course, the Burj Khalifa.
It's like each one's trying to outdo the last one, pushing the boundaries of what's possible. You mentioned a shift from the U.S. to Asia and the Middle East in recent decades. Is there like a deeper meaning behind that transition?
It's really fascinating to observe how the location of those world's tallest buildings has shifted over time. It's a reflection of global economic power as nations kind of seek to showcase their capabilities and, assert their presence on the world stage. The Al Faydalia Center in Riyadh, the Petronas Towers in Kuala Lumpur, Taipei 101, and the Burj Khalifa, these structures aren't just about height. They represent ambition on a global scale.
So it's not just about building tall, it's about making a statement. It's like these skyscrapers are giant flags proclaiming economic power and technological prowess. But let's shift gears for a second and get down to like the nitty-gritty. How do these things even stay upright? I mean, they're not just giant stacks of bricks, right? There's got to be some serious engineering magic going on behind the scenes.
You're absolutely right. The physics involved in skyscraper design is mind-boggling. Engineers have to think about things like load, stress, strain, and deflection, basically how the building responds to its own weight, and external forces like wind and earthquakes.
Okay, so I'm picturing a skyscraper as this giant Jenga tower where like one wrong move could send the whole thing tumbling down.
Yeah.
So how do engineers make sure these structures don't become like giant real life disaster movies.
It all comes down to understanding the forces at play and designing structures that can withstand them. Take wind, for example. Skyscrapers don't sway like trees in the wind because of their shape, and some clever engineering, too. A sleek aerodynamic design helps to kind of cut through the wind, reducing resistance.
I knew those architects weren't just going for style points. So it's like a skyscraper is designed to slip through the wind like a shark gliding through water.
Exactly.
But what about those dampers I've heard about? Are those like some sort of giant shock absorbers for skyscrapers?
You're on the right track. Dampers are these ingenious devices strategically placed within a skyscraper to counteract swaying motions. It could be caused by wind or seismic activity, so they essentially absorb energy, preventing excessive movement and keeping the building stable.
So it's like giving the skyscraper a little bit of wiggle room without letting it get out of control.
Yeah.
But what about earthquakes? Those seem like a whole different beast to tame when it comes to skyscraper design.
Oh, absolutely. In earthquake-prone areas, engineers utilize what are called base isolation systems,
Okay.
which are essentially giant shock absorbers placed at the base of the building. They decouple the structure from the ground's movement so the skyscraper can actually kind of ride out those tremors without sustaining any major damage.
That's incredible. It's like giving the skyscraper a set of shock-absorbing knees so it can bend with the punches.
Exactly.
But enough about physics. Let's get down to the actual construction process.
Yeah.
How do they actually build one of these mega structures? It must be like a giant high-stakes Lego project.
It is. The construction process is this fascinating blend of traditional craftsmanship and, cutting-edge technology. Early skyscrapers relied primarily on steel frame construction, which was totally revolutionary at the time. And later on, reinforced concrete, a mix of concrete and steel, provided even greater strength and versatility, and that allowed for some more complex and innovative designs.
And of course, we can't forget the elevators. I can't imagine climbing hundreds of flights of stairs just to get to my office. I'd need my own personal oxygen tank.
Right. The evolution of elevators is a story in itself, from those early, often unreliable contraptions to the high-speed, computer-controlled systems we have today. Elevators have been just absolutely crucial to making skyscrapers practical for everyday use.
It's amazing to think how much technology has advanced, not just in terms of like going higher, but also in making these buildings smarter and safer, right? When we're talking computer-aided design, building information modeling, even virtual and augmented reality for training. It's like those sci-fi movies where architects are designing buildings with holographic projections.
Exactly. And these technologies allow for incredibly precise design and planning. They minimize errors and improve safety during construction. But beyond just the fancy software, it's really the adherence to, strict building codes, the use of fire-resistant materials, and rigorous safety testing that really ensures that these skyscrapers are not only awe-inspiring, but also safe for the people who inhabit them.
So it's like a giant high-stakes puzzle where engineers and architects are constantly innovating to solve new challenges.
Definitely.
But let's shift gears for a moment and talk about the impact these giants have on the cities they inhabit. I mean, skyscrapers aren't just engineering feats. They have a massive impact on the economic and social fabric of a city, right?
Absolutely. Skyscrapers are often seen as economic engines for cities. Think about the construction process itself. It creates thousands of jobs, stimulates local industries, from steel production to interior design, and it attracts investment from around the world.
It's like a ripple effect, spreading outward from that central tower. But what about the impact on property values? I imagine living next to a skyscraper either makes you rich or drives you out. It's like that old saying, location, location, location.
Right. That's a complex issue. Skyscrapers can revitalize neighborhoods, attracting new businesses and driving up property values. But this can also lead to what's called gentrification, displacing existing residents and altering the social fabric of a neighborhood. It's a delicate balance that city planners and developers have to grapple with.
So it's not just about building up, but also about building responsibly and like considering the impact on the existing community. But there's no denying that, iconic skyscrapers can put a city on the map, right? They draw tourists and enhance a city's global image. Think about the Empire State Building or the Burj Khalifa. They're more than just buildings. They're symbols of a city's ambition and identity.
You're exactly right. Skyscrapers can become landmarks, defining the skyline and attracting visitors from around the globe. But the impact goes beyond economics and tourism. These structures have a really profound societal impact, shaping how we live, how we work, and even how we interact with each other.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Let's dive into that. How does living and working in these, vertical cities affect us? Does it change how we think or interact with each other? I mean, that's a different world up there, isn't it?
Think about the psychological impact of vertical living, right? The
Mm-hmm.
sheer height of a skyscraper, it can evoke a sense of awe, even a feeling of insignificance, in the face of such grandeur.
It's like standing on a mountaintop looking at the vastness of the world.
Exactly.
You get a different perspective from up there, don't you? But doesn't that sense of isolation kind of contradict the idea of community living? I mean, are we trading, like, horizontal connections for vertical ones?
That's a really interesting question. Skyscrapers can foster a unique sense of community, almost like a vertical village, where residents share amenities, they navigate the same spaces, and they kind of develop this shared identity. But this vertical living also raises important considerations for urban planning.
Like, how do you ensure that everyone has access to sunlight when you've got buildings blocking out the sun? Or how do you make sure that these vertical communities don't become isolated from, like, the rest of the city?
Those are critical questions. Urban planners have to consider things like zoning laws, shattered effects, and even the right to light for neighboring buildings. It's about finding that balance between maximizing space and maintaining a livable, humane urban environment.
So it's not just about building tall, it's about building responsibly, thinking about the impact on people and the planet. But there's no denying that skyscrapers have become symbols of power, prosperity, and human achievement, haven't they? They're like giant trophies, showcasing what we're capable of.
They certainly can be seen that way. Skyscrapers, they embody our aspirations, our ingenuity, and our desire to push the boundaries of what's possible. But they also reflect our challenges, right? Inequality, environmental concerns, and the constant struggle to create a just and sustainable society.
It's a reminder that skyscrapers, like any human creation, are complex and multifaceted. They represent both our triumphs and our failings. But enough about the big picture. Let's get up close and personal with some of these architectural celebrities. Are we going to meet some of these famous skyscrapers and hear their stories?
Absolutely. Our next stop will take us around the world to explore some of the most iconic skyscrapers, from the engineering marvels to the cultural impacts. Get ready for some truly inspiring stories. All right, so fasten your seatbelts because we're about to embark on a whirlwind tour of some of the most iconic skyscrapers on the planet. First stop, Dubai, home to the record-breaking Burj Khalifa.
Ah, the Burj, the ultimate symbol of ambition, piercing the sky at over 2,700 feet. I mean, building something that tall anywhere is a feat, but I bet building in the middle of the desert, that must have presented some unique challenges, right?
Oh, absolutely. Imagine designing a structure to withstand Dubai's extreme heat and wind. We're talking like scorching temperatures reaching 120 degrees Fahrenheit and winds that could rival a hurricane.
Wow, talk about a hostile environment.
Yeah.
I'm picturing architects like huddled around wind tunnels, sweating over blueprints, trying to figure out how to make this thing stand up. So how did they pull it off? What were some of the key innovations?
Well, the Burj Khalifa's unique Y-shaped layout, that actually helps reduce wind forces.
Oh, okay.
And the exterior cladding is designed to reflect the sun's heat, which minimizes energy consumption. It's truly a marvel of engineering, designed to not only withstand, but also thrive in its pretty challenging environment.
It sounds like they took inspiration from nature, mimicking the shapes and strategies that, like, desert plants and animals use to survive. It's like a giant shimmering mirage in the desert, a testament to human ingenuity.
Yeah.
But the Burj isn't just about pushing, like, physical limits, is it? It's become a symbol of Dubai's economic power and, global aspirations, right?
Oh, absolutely. The Burj Khalifa attracted global investment. It put Dubai on the map as a tourist destination, and it really spurred further development, transforming the city's skyline. It's a symbol of Dubai's ambition to be a global player, a leader in innovation and extravagance.
It's amazing how a single structure can have such a, like, ripple effect, not just on a city skyline, but on its economy and global image. But enough about the desert. Let's hop across the globe to the city that never sleeps, New York City.
Hmm.
And of course, no skyscraper conversation is complete without mentioning the granddaddy of them all, the Empire State Building.
The Empire State Building. Completed in 1931, it held the title of world's tallest building for nearly 40 years. It's this iconic symbol of American ingenuity and ambition, especially considering it was built during the Great Depression.
It's incredible to think that they built that massive structure in just over a year.
I know.
Imagine the hustle and bustle on that construction site. Steel beams swinging, rivets flying, a race against the clock. It must have been a sight to behold.
It really must have. The Empire State Building wasn't just about speed. It was a testament to human resilience. It provided jobs during a time of economic hardship, and it became a beacon of hope, a symbol that even in the darkest of times, we can still achieve great things.
It's like the Empire State Building is saying, hey, Depression, we're not giving up. We're going to build the tallest building in the world, and we're going to do it fast.
Right.
It's such a powerful symbol of, like, American grit and determination. But the Empire State Building story isn't just about the past, is it?
No.
How has it managed to stay relevant in today's world, surrounded by all these, like, newer, flashier skyscrapers?
Well, that's where continuous modernization comes in. The Empire State Building has undergone numerous renovations over the years, from energy efficiency upgrades to, modernizing its elevator systems. It's a testament to the idea that even iconic structures need to adapt and evolve to remain relevant and functional.
So it's like a grand old dame who's had a few facelifts but still knows how to rock the skyline.
That's a great way to put it.
But enough about the past. Let's jump into the 21st century and head to Shanghai,
Okay.
home to the Shanghai Tower, a skyscraper that's pushing the boundaries of sustainable design.
Yes. The Shanghai Tower is a marvel of engineering and, a testament to China's rise as a global power. Its unique twisting shape not only creates a stunning visual, but it also helps to reduce wind loads, making it much more structurally sound.
It's like a giant corkscrew reaching for the sky. But what makes it so green? Is it just the color of the glass? What are some of the sustainable features that set it apart?
Well, the Shanghai Tower incorporates a double-layered glass facade that helps to regulate temperature, and that reduces energy consumption for heating and cooling.
Oh, wow.
It also has a rainwater collection system and utilizes wind turbines to generate energy on site.
Oh, it's neat.
It's designed to be a model of sustainability, really minimizing its impact on the environment.
Wow, it's like a self-sustaining vertical city.
Uh,
So we've seen ambition in Dubai, resilience in New York, and innovation in Shanghai. It seems like every iconic skyscraper has a story to tell, a reflection of the society that built it and the challenges they faced.
Precisely. Skyscrapers are more than just steel and glass. They're narratives etched into the skyline. Stories of human ambition, ingenuity, and, the relentless pursuit of progress. But our journey isn't over yet. We still need to explore the human side of skyscraper construction. The men and women who build these giants, the risks they take, the skills they possess, that's a story worth telling as well.
Yes. Let's talk about the people who build these giants. What's it like to work, hundreds of feet in the air, balancing on steel beams, wrestling with massive construction materials? I mean, it's not a job for the faint of heart, is it?
It's not. The men and women who build skyscrapers, they're the unsung heroes of these architectural marvels. Their work is dangerous, it's demanding, and it requires a unique blend of skill, courage, and precision. They're a special breed, the ones who dare to reach for the sky.
We've talked about the incredible engineering, the history, those amazing people who build these things, but I think we need to talk about how skyscrapers show up in movies and books and art.
It's interesting, right, how these structures capture our imaginations. They become iconic symbols in movies, in literature, in art, even in music. They have this presence that kind of goes beyond just their physical form.
Oh, absolutely. Skyscrapers are practically movie stars themselves.
Right.
Who could forget King Kong scaling the Empire State Building or Bruce Wayne brooding on top of Wayne Tower, right? They're instantly recognizable, aren't they?
They are!
They just bring a sense of scale and drama that few other settings can match.
Yeah, skyscrapers have become these really potent symbols in storytelling. They represent ambition, power, sometimes even vulnerability, like in the face of, natural forces or human conflict. They can evoke a sense of awe and wonder, but also fear and trepidation at the same time.
It's like they take on a life of their own almost, right?
Mhm.
Becoming characters in the story.
Yeah.
Think about those classic film noir scenes with, like, shadowy figures lurking in skyscraper offices or, those romantic rooftop rendezvous with the city lights twinkling below.
Oh, yeah.
They provide this backdrop for, like, all of our hopes and dreams and, even our fears and anxieties.
I think skyscrapers provide this really dramatic backdrop, a setting that amplifies those human emotions and experiences. They can represent the heights of human achievement, the pinnacle of success, but also, the depths of urban alienation and the isolation that can come with living in these really dense vertical environments.
It's like that saying, the higher you climb, the farther you fall. Right. Skyscrapers can kind of represent both the thrill of success and the fear of failure. The allure of power and the potential for corruption, too. It's this duality that I think makes them so fascinating, both in real life and in those cultural narratives.
Yeah.
But beyond film, how have skyscrapers, how have they influenced other forms of art? Have they inspired artists in other mediums?
Think about Georgia O'Keeffe's paintings of New York City skyscrapers, capturing that geometric beauty and the way they just pierce the sky.
Hmm.
Or Ayn Rand's novel, The Fountainhead, which uses a skyscraper as the symbol of individual creativity and ambition,
Hmm.
defying conformity, reaching for greatness. I think they've been a source of inspiration for artists across mediums, really.
It's like those artists saw something more than just steel and glass,
Mm,
you know?
yeah.
They saw the soul of the city, the human spirit, like striving upwards, the
Yeah.
tension between individuality and conformity, the beauty and also the chaos of urban life. This is a powerful testament to just this enduring fascination these structures have for us. But let's not forget, like the darker side of skyscraper symbolism, right?
Yeah.
They can represent corporate greed, social inequality, even environmental destruction. I mean, they're not always symbols of progress, are they?
Not always, absolutely. Skyscrapers can be seen as monuments to excess, symbols of a society that maybe prioritizes profit over people or the planet. Think about those dystopian sci-fi films where megacities are dominated by, these towering, oppressive structures, casting long shadows over those impoverished masses below. It serves as a warning, a reminder of those potential consequences of unchecked ambition. And, the need for balance and sustainability in our urban development.
It's a reminder that skyscrapers, like any human creation, can be used for good or for ill.
Yeah.
They reflect our values, our aspirations, but also our failings, too. They're a mirror to our society, kind of showing us both our potential and our pitfalls. But ultimately, they're a reflection of us, our desire to leave our mark on the world, to reach for something beyond ourselves, to build something that will outlast us.
Whether we, admire their beauty or fear their power or question their impact, skyscrapers, I think they continue to fascinate and challenge us. They force us to really confront our relationship with that built environment, to consider the consequences of our ambition and to just imagine the possibilities of the future. They're not just structures, they're reflections of our dreams, our fears, and this, ongoing quest to kind of define our place in the world.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I think it's safe to say that skyscrapers are so much more than just buildings. They're symbols, they're stories, challenges, and opportunities all rolled into one.
They are.
They're a testament to human ingenuity and a reflection of our, complex relationship with the urban environment. And speaking of complex relationships, I think it's time to thank our expert for sharing their insights and helping us unpack the fascinating world of skyscrapers.
It's been my pleasure. This has been a really great conversation.
Yeah. And to all our listeners, thank you for joining us on this deep dive. If you want to explore the world of skyscrapers even further, be sure to check out Conrad Riker's book, Skyscrapers, The Men Who Build Them and the Societies They Shape, available on Amazon Kindle and Google Play Books. It's a fantastic read, filled with insights and stories that will make you look at these towering giants in a whole new light. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep reaching for the sky.